Welcome to Volume 1 of the 6 Underground, where tonight I am joined by former Q Cub legend, Anatomic Asylum head honcho, Darren Douglas. How are we doing?
I'm all right.
We've also got a Stone Live performance from Oscar Corney tonight. For those who don't know, I am AdamO, and tonight we are drinking this beer, which is Beavertown Neck Oil. As you may be aware, we are fans. What do you reckon?
Oh yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
This is the 6 and this is 6 Underground. So, fuck, that's been a year.
It has been. It's yeah. It's been entertaining. There's been ups and downs. Just glad it's all happening though.
Yeah, we're getting there, right?
Yeah.
So some people ask how we come together.
Yeah.
And it is a story.
It is a story.
But I remember you rolling in there, curious to who this guy is, doing your old thing.
I was very much sort of, who's this guy? What's he doing? You know, but with the pandemic and everything that hit, it was kind of crazy because like we had 2 years where we had absolutely nothing, and so like you came in. Treading on my toes.
I try.
But, you know, to find out, you know, shining light at the end of the tunnel, you know. So, you know, I'm glad, you know, I came in, had a bit of a chat with you and said, I know a few people. Let's do this.
And it helped, right? I mean, certainly for us, I mean, Jesus, it's been a dream for years to own your own venue and come into a city where you don't know anyone. You know, it was bold, I think, to say the least, but
yeah, man.
Having you roll up and tell me kind of about what you've done and what COVID done to the business, kind of, and then stepping in last minute as well. We've done that DJ set on New Year's Eve for us.
Yeah, that was sweet though. That was really good.
And you brought us this whole crowd of wonderful people. And the reality is, I think without you, this would have taken us a year, 2 years to probably get noticed because that's the nature. We're a destination venue, right? But yeah, I think.
You would have done it. It would have been fine.
It would have taken a while.
I don't want to walk out with my head this big, you know.
You're fine.
No. You gave me an opportunity as well because, like, I felt very much that community that I had created at the nightclub that I had. It dissipated. It disappeared. You know, over 2 years, people move on. You know, things don't happen. I tried several different venues. Nothing felt right. Yeah. And because of the original legacy that this venue had, I thought, you know, why not? You were the guy to bring this back, you know, bring back that kind of, you know, the live music, the events. Yeah. You know, the variation which Cambridge has been missing as well. So,
and I think the most important thing is we had the same view, right? Like, you know, most venues, London, Manchester, whatever, they kind of relegated this alt scene to Tuesdays, and there was this whole
very much,
popular culture Radio 1 thing that was, you know, dominating weekends, you know, sexy Saturdays and all of this nonsense. And it never made sense to me, and that's kind of why we've done this. It's, you know, we've got this whole alternative scene, and it's not just the old crew, there's a whole wave of young artists coming through.
Yeah.
And, you know, why aren't we sponsoring that? And also, we've all been to a metal night. Why people want to relegate that to a Tuesday always baffled me. Yeah. You know, it's the biggest drinking crowd, the nicest crowd, there's never any trouble. And we need a home, right? And I think you coming over to us kind of enforced that vision that we had about, you know, creating this alternative, weird venue full of weird staff and weird people, and you know, it gave me some belief that, yeah, do you know what, this is the place to put it.
But this is where, you know, you came in. It's like I could see, you know, the vibe that you wanted to create. I could see, so like, you know, your way forward to, you know, what you had perceived, and you know, for me, I just thought this just fits in with what I'm doing. Yeah. And so, you know, it's very much our crowd is, you know, don't judge us, we won't judge you, sort of thing. Absolutely. You know, it's a safe space. It's you know, I've worked with the LGBTQ community, you know, fairly extensively over the past few years as well. Yeah. And you know, with you know, us having that here as well, you know, it's all helped. So, you know, kudos to you. You know, my hat to you, man.
I do mine, but my man bum will fall out.
You know, but yeah.
It's fulfilled me. I mean, you know, some people know I worked in and around the music industry for forever, it feels like. And I was so disillusioned by it to a point where I kind of thought I wasted my whole career and I just didn't know what to do next. And this will answer. I mean, people say, where did the 6 come from? And I was so broken by everything. I was like, I need to get away. So we before we started trying for children, I was like, I need to tick off the bucket list. So we done Route 66, right? I still, to this day, do not remember that first stretch of that journey. Like, it's just not... If it weren't for the pictures, it wasn't there. I was just so empty. And on the way back, you know, I was thinking about things that we discussed and how important it is. And it just, like, hit me like this wave. It's like, look, we've all done that drunken talk. Dude, I'm going to open a bar, right? And we never do it. But it was like, I turned to Lace in the car and I was like, I'm going to open a bar. Like, that's what I'm supposed to do. And she was like, yeah, okay. So that just set like it digested for months. And I remember I was running a cocktail bar over in Bishop's Stortford, and I was driving along one day, and it just like hit me, like the 6 that was the name. It was like, and I was hitting the steering wheel, and I called Lacey. I go, I've got it. She was like, what are you talking about? I was like, the name. She was like, what name? I was like, the 6. She was like, what? What are you talking about? I was at the bar. She was like, you still on that? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm going to do it, right? And that was it. So we got the name, and then we got the logo. I designed the logo, and then we just started working away at it. And we went through a couple of investors. It just didn't sit right. Our views were different. And then it was that far from not happening, and I called an old friend of mine, Tony, who used to run the club that I used to sneak into when I was underage when I was a kid. I was like, Tony, I've got this idea, man, but I don't have the money. I'm a working class kid, you know, I can barely afford life week to week. And he was like, funny you should say, I've got this guy. So he put me in contact with my wonderful business partner, Andy, and he didn't ask about any of the business plans or any of that stuff, the boring stuff. He just wanted to know me. So I'd done this. I had this conversation about how I see it and how I see the future of what we do. And he was just like, I'm sold, I'm done, let's do this. I cried. Because, like, you know, from an upbringing of toxic masculinity, I guess, and you know, not really having much faith in yourself or feeling like you could break that cultural standard of getting out of poverty, I guess. You don't really ever anticipate those kind of breaks. So when this guy kind of done that, you know, I just went into this whole next level of drive, man. And you know, especially when Bowie came along, I was like, we've got to get this done. You know, I don't want my son turning up into the world without at least a potential future.
No, it's amazing what you have done, you know.
Yeah. But
I mean, within the time that, you know, you've been given, it's it's been a crazy few months.
It has, right? And you know, it goes on. It's the staff. You know, we're all weird and broken and amazing in our own ways. But that's it. You know, we built a family here, and we really did. There's so many businesses that we're a family here, and we all know that's not really the case, but we really are here. You know, experience doesn't matter. It's just giving a shit. And everyone, you know, and the customers feel it, and everyone just gives a shit here. And that's a testament of what we've been trying to build as an alt community, I think, forever, really.
Well, I mean, like, so like where I came from, I mean, I moved up from Brighton, and I came up here, and I was like, there's a lot of stuff going on in Cambridge. I mean, there's this place called the Boat Race, which is the venue that we're in right now. There was the Cam Bar, which was a nightclub in the centre of town. It's King Street Run. Loads of different places, very old, very different. And I had the fortunate platform of working at the bar at the King Street Run. And from that, I met loads of really great people who kind of encouraged me to sort of, like, you know, do what I'm now doing now. And you know, so I met this lovely woman now, she called Corinne, and so she encouraged me to sort of like get an alt scene going. We booked out one of the rooms, which is 300 capacity at the Cambridge United Football Club.
Oh wow!
And so it was called Mass, and but there was plenty of things going on here, and we at a Cam Bar, you had like nights, you had different rock nights, you had goth nights, you had all sorts of different things going on, and unfortunately, it was waning, and so we came in. We did this night mass. It was just full on metal, hard rock metal, and each month we'd fill that place up. 250, 300 people, and then we decided to take on the pub ourselves as well.
Crazy.
Can't manage a pub.
Me either, don't worry.
But it was a lot of fun. So I started dabbling in DJing, and so from that I got invited to this small little divey cellar bar called the Q Club, and I haven't really looked back since. I mean, I got invited in. I did like an alt 80s night, well, an alt 80s set actually. Yeah. And the manager there just basically said, "Do you do this regularly?" I was like, "No, not really." And he's like, "What you're playing is so completely different. It's brilliant. I love it. Do you want to come in and do more?" And then from that, I started doing the events calendar. I started not booking in. I started pulling in different. So I had like Rock Sock in. There's already the Calling Witches Goth Night, and then we brought in Dot Cotton, which is probably Cambridge's biggest
still going, yeah.
LGBTQ night, and absolutely amazing. And rotating around that, we had 80s nights, 90s nights, but it was the alternative too, and it was the alternative for Cambridge as well. It wasn't your standard high street nightclub. It was down in a little cellar, and finally, with the way situations occurred, I ended up managing the place, and I had a good 4 years.
Nice. And
I turned it to, wanted to rebrand, wanted to create it as, under my own sort of intentions, my own image. And so I wanted to give this sort of like bunker-esque Fallout sort of feel. And so we called it Atomic. And from that, we started like pulling in some more bands and bits and pieces like that. We had them play. From that, we strive to be what we could be. We wanted it to encompass everyone. We didn't want to isolate anyone. We didn't want to, not have you come in just because you're wearing a suit. You can let your hair down, sort of thing. Like I said earlier, if you don't judge us, we won't judge you.
That's the way it's got to be.
And it was lovely. It was a lovely place, and we had a lot of fun. So like for the good, the 4 years that I was running it, we would bring in more and more nights, and we felt it snowballing. It was just becoming bigger and bigger. And for so long, Cambridge hasn't had that, because so many bars, venues, nightclubs, what have you, have been shutting down.
Yeah.
And then after the pandemic, you came along, and you're like, "Hey, I'll do a pop-up bar."
What a genius.
And I had I had doubts. I was like, "Yeah, what are you doing?" But I wasn't doing anything at that time either. So you came here and launched me back up again. And spent 6 months doing your pop-up, you're doing DJ nights, variations of alts, different and we managed to get so many different different nights coming in as well. Not just because of me, but because of yourself, as what you're doing. And it's the shining light at the end of the tunnel. That's for me. I mean, now I'm bringing bands, I'm promoting bands. I've got my club night afterwards. I'm now booked up with hard rock metal nights until June.
That's amazing.
Once a month. Yeah. And I never thought I'd be in this position where I'll be doing this. So it's great. I absolutely love it.
Keep on.
And thank you. It's been great working with you throughout all of this. 6 Fest was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. It was a great day, and I think there's going to be more to come. I mean,
there's loads more to come.
Yeah.
So with us, I mean, obviously we know we've got all of the new challenges from cost of living crisis, energy crisis, all of these things. However, that doesn't, I think, and you'll agree, steer away from the fact that pubs, venues, all of that have been closing down at a monumental rate for the last decade. Mm-hmm. So, what things do you come up against when you're running the queue that maybe still haven't changed now, and maybe they probably should? Was it agents? Was it booking? Was it
I had more problems with regards to, let's say, what I was actually doing. I think unfortunately nothing against the university. I work for the university, but university owns certain buildings, what have you, and they want to do something with it. And unfortunately, this is what's happening in Cambridge. More and more, bars that used to be legendary just are becoming flats or supermarkets or what have you. And for the 3 to 4 years that I was there, probably at least 2 of them, I was trying to get this whole leasehold sorted out, and I just got squashed out. They trebled my rates. There's several other pubs like the Flying Pig just across the road from me. They had that whole problem as well. Rebuilding, bringing in offices, what have you. That's what was hard. The other thing that's been fairly difficult is, I saw the Foo Fighters here at the Corn Exchange back in like '97. Placebo played here, and that wasn't happening anymore. And then like the promoters almost kind of like, it's like almost like they subsided. They kind of like, they weren't bringing in those kind of bands. I know there's a slight lull, and everything happens in cycles.
It does.
But at the same time, I'm glad that this community here is still here, and it's still available, and there's still things that are happening. There are several pubs and venues in Cambridge which are still doing it, but not necessarily like this, And this is where I think this is brilliant, because it's almost every day of the week we've got something going on, and I think that works, and it's there for us, and the community that is here, should be here, and I think it will take some time.
Yeah.
But there's a new generation, and we've got students coming in, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think it's been so quiet for so long. Yeah.
And I guess it gets time to get used to the new norm, right, as well. Cities are having that gentrification period where, but I think, the amount that music venues and hospitality generate to the UK economy is monumental, and in employment as well. We need councils and communities to understand just what we're doing here. It's not just the fun and games they see, but it's so important to culture that artists have a small platform to play on. Where is the next Oasis, the next Foo Fighters? Where are they going to come from?
Yeah.
And I think councils, the government especially, they need to understand, and they need to do more and soon, because it just can't carry on. And COVID has done its thing, and the energy crisis has done its thing. But again, it was something like, my facts may be off here, but it was something like 30 pubs, bars or restaurants were closing down a week pre-COVID.
Yeah. Cambridge is a prime example of that. I've mentioned several names here. Like Cambar was one of those nightclubs in this city centre, right on the Market Square, and it had all the indie nights and what have you, and like students used to flock there. And the owner actually retired, and he didn't necessarily want to continue it any longer. But they just, it's all turned into restaurants. There are no venues. There are venues in Cambridge. It's just very samey.
I think it's. I think I had this conversation. I think the terminology that we can probably get away with and not annoy too many people is probably some, but dedicated grassroots music venues, because that is what we are. As much as I'm trying to push this place as a pub and all of that, and we do have some lovely people that turn up on a Tuesday, but fundamentally, you touched on it. We do want this 7 days a week with something, guitar music, DJ nights, the next generation of promoters, the next generation of artists, and just people that want to build a community. I go to LA and you look at Whiskey A Go-Go. It's been going forever, and it's this kind of culture. The Camden, perfect prime example, has suffered from gentrification, but probably on a bigger scale for us lot than we're likely to ever see. However, I'll still go to Hawley Arms, because it's kept that mentality of coming in your suit and tie after that, that's fine, but you're still going to rock out and you're welcome.
Yeah.
But people are losing it, and they're losing it probably because there's a fear. For me, it'd be so much easier to sell this place out every weekend by going Sexy Saturdays, have 12 Jaeger bombs for £1.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that, man. There's no creative concept behind it. There's no design. There's no method. There's nothing. Like, people just need to dig their heels in and go, it will come. There's a home for this.
We do have the community here, and I think it's just they need to start finding it out a lot more. You know, like I said, COVID I think had a drastic.
You got used to drinking at home. Right?
Yeah, and with smoking ban, the same thing happened with smoking ban as well. No, honestly, people.
No, I said they're never going to stop me smoking. I'm going to put a spark up inside. That lasted like a week.
Like, you know, people started actually drinking at home because they preferred to, you know, they're able to smoke in their own home, what have you. You know, we'll gradually get through this, and I'm so pleased with how Atomic Asylum has worked out here. I mean, you know, I've got bands that want to come here again. You know, they only played like 3 months ago, and they want to be back here. They like this stage, they like this pub, and like I haven't really heard a bad thing from my end of things at all. You know, and it's worked. It's worked with the bands coming in. It's like 7 till 10, you know, 10:30, and then I rock up, and you know, try my best anyway. Try my best, but like it's not just all hard rock and it's not just all metal. I mean, like I've got a punk rock weekend coming up at the end of this month.
You have, yeah.
And then you know, so we got New Year's, and that's just going to be completely different. A lot of partying, a lot of drinks, and then and then the rest of the year, you know, I've gone from classic rock, and then I've got like death metal coming in as well. I've got all these bands lining up, and you know, it's a tribute to what you're doing here. You know, because. You know, I'm promoting as much as I can my night, but they want to sit on it. They want to play on this stage. You know.
I think that with us doing this, and I've been doing this nearly 20 years. The one thing that we need to break, and that comes from the public certainly, is this mentality of, well, I don't know the band, so I'm not going to show up. What's that about? Like, come on, like you need to turn up. Just take a risk. If you don't like it, like just go have a cigarette.
It's only a fiver anyway, isn't it?
Right?
You know, it's the same price as like, you know,
pint of lager. Yeah.
I mean, look, what promoters can do. I mean, like what I try to do as much as possible is like whatever I'm doing is like, I try to play their music as much as possible. This is what you're going to be hearing, you know, and you know, as long as we're trying to do that and you know, embrace and encourage.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
On that, I think we should probably get ready to introduce a local artist and someone that I've got to know really well over the last few months, Oscar Corney. In my humble opinion, probably the hottest prospect that's coming out of this city anytime soon. We've worked with him a couple of times now, and graciously he's agreed to play our first Volume 1 of the 6 Underground. So we will hand over to Oscar, who's going to do one original song and come have a little chat, and then he's going to do a cover which he's going to tell us all about. So over to you, buddy.
Did you get out? Did you run away from that mess inside your mind? You need the time to breathe so you can keep marching. The road along won't be the last. All in my head, anxious to death. I feel the way I feel, something's in my waters. I feel the way I feel, something's in my waters. In my head, my head. I feel the way I feel, something's in my waters. You feel alone when you're out of touch, waiting to find what's left inside of all of us. Anxiously beating, your heart won't let you run, 'cause you're needed home. All in my head, waters. I'm done waiting in line, breaking in silence. In my head, my head. 'Cause I feel the way I feel, something's in my waters. Breaking my head on I feel the way I feel, something's in my waters. I'm done waiting in line, breaking in silence. In my head, in my head. 'Cause I feel the way I feel, something's in my waters.
Dude, that was awesome. Thank you, man. And thank you playing Volume 1.
Mate, pleasure.
Who else?
Pleasure.
Who else?
Yeah, Chris on the first night, full band, and we're doing acoustic as well, so absolute pleasure.
So how's the last year been for you?
Actually, in terms of music, bang on. So the first year back, I've been in and out of music. Obviously, I met you on this is probably my third comeback. Never really went far, but lost a bit of vision over the way. Started acoustically, had a bit of a band. So it's been a bit hit or miss, but this is the lineup. I'm in a phase of songwriting now that feels my strongest. Had a few hiccups along the way, had an operation on my voice, which was pretty gnarly.
Damn.
But we're getting the momentum, and the footings are in place now. So next year's looking cool.
It feels like you and the band fit. I mean, obviously I booked you for when we done the Portland show between this happening.
Yeah.
And it feels like you've been together forever. Like, it feels like you just get each other now, right?
It's bizarre because I've had a few different lineups, like I say, of bands. I had the session player thing, which were still my mates, but
availability.
They were like guns for hire, So pop up, and like I say, they play for like 5-6 different artists. Can get a bit messy. So the band is sick. Dave on drums, who has done 10 years touring with Mallory Knox. Do you know what I mean? That's
incredible.
He's done it. He's done it all of what we want to do. So he was happy to jump on board. Connor on guitar, who was in the old lineup. Dan, my bass player, he does all my recording. We do all the production together. So, like you say, I think it is an organic merge, and at the minute, like you say, it feels like it works, man. So I'm super happy.
From our perspective, it's flawless. It seems effortless. You're happy. You're writing. I mean, for an artist, that's
what
the
more
key.
can you ask for?
Well, what else are you supposed to do? Yeah.
100%.
So what's next? Like, what's coming next for the next year? Like, what can we expect?
So obviously, comes with music. All the things you have to do within the industry, you perhaps don't want to do. Social media. So I've upped my game just of late. So I've got a bit of a bank of like covers. I'm going to be playing a cover tonight, and it's something I've never done really before. So
that's a good quality though.
And you need to do covers, like you really do in your live sets to get known, show people what you're about.
It's like an entry drug to your music, right?
It is,
literally.
Yeah. So they can have a little taste of that, and then, so lots on the TikTok, unfortunately, Reels, YouTube. So basically, we're just trying to push. We've got a lot of songs in the bank. Just gig as well, man. I want to do a headline show, which
I know a venue.
Yeah, we'll catch up on. So it's looking good. Like, it's the first time, not the first time, but probably the first time in music where I feel like this is it. 'Cause I still work full time. I have done since I left school, and it's getting this close to the point where I just want to say no.
When's the right time?
Yeah,
to
no
jump?
more of that. Like, let's just have a go, because I'm running out of time.
From an old guy to another, man, when it feels right, jump.
Yeah.
Like, and I think, you know, from my perspective, and I've been doing this a long time, I think you've got everything the modern age needs, while holding on to your artistic, creative freedom, I guess is the best way to put it. You know,
It's a hard thing in this day and age.
It is. It is.
Very
We
hard.
know that. You kind of got to play to this, you know, I said it before, this Radio 1 kind of generation where... But
Chaos.
create your creative freedom at the same time. So,
Definitely.
and I think you're doing that. I also hear on the Grapevine you might have some shows for probably the biggest rock and roll indie promoter in the UK right now. This feeling coming up. So,
Again, things like that, like jumping back into music, you think instantly, how are these opportunities going to come around? Because you stay stagnant, time just goes, man. Things, trends, everything just pushes past you. So when that opportunity landed, I was like, absolute nibble.
you've got to take
Like
it.
straight up.
Are they problems you've come across as a young artist? I guess, like, you know, working with promoters and venues. Do you struggle to kind of get in the door, or?
Yeah, so my issue is, which is my issue, why I've fizzled out so many times and sort of disappeared, is this whole game's about momentum, is what I've realised, and you have to utilise every tool. So in a modern day society, now we're talking TikTok, social media, flexing those muscles, even though you don't like to, you have to. So I've been so bad at that before, because my heart lays in songwriting, my heart lays in performing. But without the A to B's, you can't get the C. So.
I agree. I hate social media, man.
Yeah.
But what else?
It's a hard game, but you know, that is the world we live in now. So the sooner you kind of use it as you can blend that tool, you know, it doesn't have to be facade, it doesn't have to be fake.
I think, look, as long as you stay genuine to who you are and don't try and sell a product that really isn't you, and trying to, then, look, I've always said this, the amount of artists I like, which I won't say all of them in my rock bar because I'll be lynched, but there are certain artists where if you generally believe the words that they're singing, that is the difference between, you know, this modern pop culture and potentially the next Arctic Monkeys, the Oasis, the Foo Fighters, because you buy into the words they're saying, right?
100%.
And if you lose that, then it's all gone to shit, let's be honest.
And it's just, you know, I listen to so much music from every genre you can imagine. So for me, it's all feel, man. It's
has to
all,
be.
so
If you
doesn't
don't
matter
believe
the
it, we
genre,
won't believe it, right? Yeah.
That's it. So, yeah, long live music in that respect. And
We'll keep doing
as
it
long as
together.
I can keep playing it, then I'm happy.
You'll get there, man. I've got every faith. So I am going to do a shameless plug because I can.
Too right, man.
So 16th of December,
Yeah.
we've got the big Generation X Christmas party.
Hell yeah.
We've got Blackwaters, who are up to north. Good friends of mine, done a lot of me in London back in the day. Obviously, you had to be part of the Generation X Christmas party.
Hell yeah.
And then you recommended this band Searching Grey, which I think are coming back from the back of Beyond now. Yeah.
So they are a blast from the past. Like when me, a few other Cambridge names, Tom Lumley, we were all sort of coming up together. We were all gigging, and it always just appeared we were on the same nights. But we had a great little click going. And these guys, for me, are just your everyday, normal, down-to-earth people working normal jobs. They are, to me, they're like a modern day Oasis. Like
Working class music.
Britpop,
Right?
working class music, man, and they just get up there. Nick, lead singer's got a pint stand for his mic. Like, just you're gonna get what you're gonna get, and it's cool. And they sing, and they're not hypersonic musos. Like, they're not. They just play music, and it's
live and breathe it, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to do another track for us to end the show, Volume 1. What are we doing and why?
So, like I said, I don't do covers often. It's no choice. It's just like it's just never.
I respect that.
It's never something I've ever done. So, this song I had been playing like little bits of, but I've learned it fully now. Hopefully, I can still play it. But this song hit me like a ton of bricks this summer. In a good way, it was kind of melancholy, kind of just wham. So I bought a Harley, started this year, riding it around all summer. I had the tunes on, and this song came on. And like I say, I listen to all types of music, and it just hit me like a rock, man.
Just
like,
got you.
Just got me. And like, when you listen to the track and how it's written, it's fucking brilliant. So it's a song called "Something in the Orange" by a guy called Zach Ryan, who's an up-and-coming Americana country artist.
You know I love that.
Ex Royal Navy, you know, he's just like the boy, raw as anything, and it's super cool.
That's amazing.
So yeah.
I'm going to let you set up for that.
Legend.
we're going to say thank you for joining us on the first episode. Volume 2 is going to be me catching up with Joe Bunkle, who's the head honcho of Rebel. We're going to be discussing everything LGBTQ, the problems they come up against in the music industry, and how we've been working together over the last few months to kind of start making changes towards that. For us, like and subscribe. We need that support. For me, I'm the carry on drinking this beer, which is neck oil. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. See you next time.
It'll be fine by the slide, I'm telling you, baby. These things eat at your bones and drive your young mind crazy. When you place your head between my collar and jaw, I don't know much, but there's no weight at all. I'm mad if I do, and I'm damned if I don't. If I say I miss you, I know that you won't. And I miss you in the morning when I see the sun. Something in the orange tells me we're not done. To you I'm just a man, to me you're all I am. Tell me where I'm supposed to go. I poison myself again. Something in the orange tells me you're never coming home. I need to hear you say you've been waiting all night. There's orange dancing in your eyes from bulb light. Your voice only trembles when you try to speak. Take me back to when stairs in the swoon used to creep. I'm just a man, to me you're all I am. Tell me where I'm supposed to go. I poison myself again. Something in the orange tells me you're never coming home. If you leave today, I'll just stare at the way the orange touches all things around. Grass, trees, and you, how I still love you. Please turn those headlights around. To you I'm just a man, to me you're all I am. Tell me where I'm supposed to go. I poison myself again. Something in the orange tells me you're never coming home. If you leave today, I'll just stare at the way the orange touches all things around. Grass, trees, and dew, how I still love you. Please turn those headlights around. Please turn those headlights around. Thank you.